That lasted a long time. Hi guys, Roman and
Julie's again here.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about the best albums of this year, 2022. Bless you. We have our little daughter here because why make it easy when we can make it hard, right? And Billy is with his grandma. I'm gonna go top 14 albums. This is a time bomb. This is a time bomb. My editor is gonna have a lot of work to do. I am my editor.
She wants to be in camera.
Yeah. You know, I think that 2019 was a really great year. Like that was the strongest year. 2019. Yes, 2019 was really awesome. And then 20 and 21 were a bit weaker in my opinion, like years. You know, in 2019, maybe it's just that I came across a lot of great records, but I would say 22 comes close. This year was amazing. Now, there were quite a few records I listened to in the past 3 weeks. You know, that was a bit overwhelming, but overall I listened to around 60 records that came out in 2022. There are still records I missed out on, and I'm pretty sure a couple of years from now I'm gonna discover a lot of records where I'm gonna be like, wow, this would definitely make the list, and this is definitely one of the best records ever. You can't really go through everything. My wife didn't really listen to any records she would like to, because, you know, if you look at my Spotify stats, I have 100,000 minutes of music listened to in 2022. Spotify told me 180 artists. That's how many I listened to. This year, you know, we had a new album from Ozzy Osbourne, from Muse, from Scorpions. All of these were whatever. You know, Stratovarius had a cool new album. Also, if I made a review for any of the records I'm gonna be talking about, you will see it here, you know, at the top of the video. Just before we start, I stopped making reviews because, you know, 2 kids, family, music career, and also, you know, if you spend like 3 or 4 hours making a review and you have 200 views, it's just absolutely not motivational at all. So I'm not really gonna be doing reviews in the future. I'm gonna be doing reaction videos, a lot of my own stuff. I'm gonna do maybe worst to best videos. I actually did enjoy those, but we'll see, because that's like super time consuming. But I may do, you know, I will always do these recommendation videos. So, okay, I decided to do top 14 this year, but before we start with the list, there are 2 records I want to mention, and that's Borelai, if that's how it's pronounced, Illusions. Kind of like a lighter, brighter version of Evergrey. I've heard the album 9 times, but I've been listening to it for the past 3 weeks. Really good album, I liked it. For Evergrey fans, it's definitely a must. The singer has an awesome voice, so go check it out.
I'm tired of hiding. I've lost my life. Trying to start things over. I'm lying awake at night.
The other recommendation is h.e.a.t, the self-titled album. Despite an absolutely horrible album cover and really stupid name, and these 2 things were actually discouraging me from listening to it. Great album. It has the drummer from Fate's Warning and Ray Alder as a singer, who is one of the best singers definitely on the planet, I think. And the whole album is more like melodic rock, AOR, really good stuff. I heard it 9 times as well. So at number 14, I have Stepping Westward, Chasing Ghosts. I've heard this album 14 times, and Stepping Westward is this kind of a big and famous alternative metal / industrial metal band from the 90s. I listened to their most appreciated record from the 90s and I wasn't too blown away, but the new album is really fantastic. It's like modern rock with a lot of electronics, great singing, and just really great songwriting. I really like this record. Not sure if you can remember it.
No.
She can, probably. Although I listened to it before her time, but...
She was excited.
Yeah. Okay, at number 13, I have Alter Bridge, Pawns and Kings. And I heard the album 15 times. And yeah, I think that this is the heaviest and the darkest they've been since The Fortress, which I still think is their best album. Yeah, and I think it's just Alter Bridge, you know, they do what they do. They, you know, all of the records are kind of samey, but on the other hand, there's no other bands like them. I think it's a very good album. It's probably their least accessible and most uncompromising record.
Tell you what I
How did you like Alter Bridge?
Their Alter Bridge.
That's what
Don't
she
know.
said 3 years ago when we did Walk the Earth. It's Alter Bridge. Yeah. So when they
I don't
released...
know, it's normal. It's not special. They're like Alter Bridge. There is nothing new.
Yeah, there's nothing new. At number 12, I have Persephone, Metanoia, which I also listened to 15 times. This is like progressive metal / technical death metal. They have Einar Solberg on the intro singing, and it's a very interesting record because it's got really like these heavy death metal moments, but also very orchestral and very like somber, very melancholic moments. It's definitely among the heaviest records I listened to this year. Really beautiful record, Metanoia.
I don't like Persephone.
You didn't like it? But you generally like heavier music, death metal stuff, no?
Yeah, but I don't like this Persephone.
Good for them. At number 11, I have Silent Skies, Nectar, and this is, you know, like the singer from Evergrey, Tom Englund, he had this like very emotional delivery in some of the Evergrey songs, in the slower songs, and this was like a wet dream of all of his fans to just hear him on a record where all of the songs would take advantage of his very gentle, very tender side of his voice. And yeah, Silent Skies is basically the answer for that. They made 2 records. I haven't listened to the first one, and even Nectar, I just listened to it for the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but I heard it 12 times. Mostly there's just piano, some ambient noise, some ambient sounds. Very beautiful music, very emotional.
But once you've started searching, you know it's never ending.
Silent Skies are beautiful music.
Silent Scar are beautiful music, Julie. You can just say they are beautiful, or they make beautiful music, or they are beautiful to listen to.
They are beautiful.
Okay, I guess their music is beautiful too.
Yeah, I love their music because it's too melancholic, and I am too melancholic too.
Nice.
It makes me cry.
Great. Okay, so let's go to top 10 records. So at number 10, I have Dance with the Dead, Driven to Madness, which I've heard 21 times, and this is the only instrumental album on this list. Dance with the Dead, they kind of combine like very, I don't want to say commercial, but like this very accessible riff-driven metal with synthwave. It's got a lot of beautiful melodies. It kind of sounds like a soundtrack for the 80s horror action flicks. It's just very well written record. You know, despite it not having any vocals, the music is very, very well written, and I listen to it a lot in the summer.
I don't know, did I like them?
Remember there was this song that kind of sounded like Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah,
So that's them.
I don't know.
So it must have been really good. Number 9, I have the record that I desperately tried to get an LP of, but it was really unavailable in Europe. Yeah, she's angry too. And that's the Deer Hunter H.e.a.t, which I've heard 23 times. I did listen to the Deer Hunter earlier in the year. I listened to the Act 1 and I wasn't really blown away. And after the H.e.a.t, I listened to Act 4, Act 5. I listened to The Migrant. They're all solid records, but none of them really hits home just like the H.e.a.t does. And H.e.a.t is the perfect version of the Deer Hunter. I love the instrumentation, the funky vibe, the concept of the record. I like the horn section, the singing. Probably one of their punchiest records because the previous stuff is more in the indie pop country almost territory. You know, I wouldn't really see them as a prog band per se.
Go ahead and wave goodbye to the old town. Oh, say you're done with you, it's clear. You don't know what to do, but we know what you're going.
Yeah, I love this album. It's so airy.
Yeah, airy. That's, yeah. At number 8, I have h.e.a.t, Force Majeure, which I've heard 21 times. Well, h.e.a.t's previous album, h.e.a.t 2, actually ended up being my album of the year of 2020. And even though I generally despise young and modern rock bands playing this 80s style because they can't really do it, h.e.a.t is a great band. I do have to say, Force Majeure was a record that was a bit underwhelming at first.
Like Daddy like the other.
It was a bit underwhelming, and when I listened to the album for the first couple of times, I was like, oh my god, this is the most average H.e.a.t can be. But no, it's actually a great album. I love that Kenny returned as a singer. I do prefer Kenny a little bit over Eric, even though I think that the material with Eric was the best one. And, you know, if you compare this to the new Skid Row album, you know, that's not even competition. It blows Skid Row right out of the water. Beautiful album. I think they still got it. This is 80s hard rock at its best.
Nice record. Very warm.
Warm, okay.
Yeah.
Do you like singing?
Yeah.
The 80s singing, yeah?
Yeah.
So you like him, but you don't like me?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. At number 7, I have King's X, 3 Sides of One, their first new studio album in 14 years. I really dig this album. I would say that it has elements of all of their stuff, you know, from before. Probably it reminds me most of the Ear Candy album. I would still like them to go in that Dogman self-titled album kind of direction, you know, very heavy riff based, but great. You know, every song is great. There's quite a lot of variety, and I do have to say Doug Pinnick at the age of 71 just sounds amazing. I want to sound like this when I'm 71. Awesome record, and I really hope there's more to come.
This album too.
It has kind of that 90s grungy vibe.
Yeah, I love it.
At number 6, I have kind of a latest addition, Electric Callboy Techno, which I've heard 17 times, just like the King's X album, and I've been listening to it. Yeah,
Spaceman.
Yeah. I've been basically listening to this album for the past 3 weeks for 17 times, and it's the shortest album on the list. It's just something over 30 minutes long. I was pretty blown away by how much they combine the almost like the 80s disco techno, like very cheesy choruses with like metalcore and electronics, and the songwriting is just really great. Every song is memorable, maybe with the exception of Hurricane, which is a bit over the top, you know, it's more like a joke, but generally very good album, you know, and I love listening to it. I think that the songwriting is just really top notch.
I wanna feel it day and night. My work and my delight. You are the power of my life. I wanna pump it better.
Yeah, really good album.
But there were moments where you were not in the mood.
Yeah, I want to stop him.
In the morning, yeah. But other than that, I think it's a fun record.
Yeah.
Okay, at number 5, I have Northlane, the Obsidian, and I gotta say that this transparent red vinyl is the most beautiful physical format I have. The quality of the whole package is just unbelievable. Just look at this. It's so beautiful. This is premium quality. So I've heard this album 23 times, and it really took me by surprise because this is essentially like a metalcore band, but they have so many electronic, almost like dubstep elements, and a lot of the, like, someone called it Matrix metal. Really beautiful record. I love how melodic, how catchy it is, how they combine very heavy metal with like melodic moments, with electronic moments.
The only thing that matters is what you can create. Bring them go down for this echo chamber.
Honey, I was wrong.
What?
I thought that Persephone is Northlane.
Very good.
What is Persephone?
Does it matter at this point? So she may actually like Persephone. We don't know. She doesn't know. Doesn't remember it.
I think
I don't think you did like it. It was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Just fantastic album, and you know, you gotta buy this LP because it's so. It even smells great. Just smell it. Did you like this? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I like the smell. No, I didn't like this album because it's too heavy for my ears and my nervous system.
Too heavy, and you used to go to flash parties listening to grindcore.
I was drunk.
Drunked. I was
Drunk.
drunk. I was drunked. You made past of the past. I was
Toto
drunk.
vystrihni. To sa nehodí.
She told me to cut it out. Well, what does my editor think? It's not gonna be cut out because I am my editor. At number 4, I have Dan Reed Network, Let's Hear It for the King, which I've heard 22 times. Dan Reed Network is my all-time favorite group. Their first 3 albums are perfect, and even though this album may kind of look like this is some kind of a death metal band, they actually play funk rock, hard rock. This is how hard rock should be done. Considering that it's, you know, a relatively straightforward rock music, it's a pretty slow burner. Like, it took me a long time to really appreciate this album, to really get into it. Also, this is like a purple vinyl, even though I was kind of hoping for a pink one. Dan Reed Network is a band that should have been one of the biggest bands of all time because their music is just perfect.
I like this album. It's really fresh and it makes my day.
Okay.
You know, you can play it in the morning.
That's important. She's not very much a morning person, but that has to do with the kids waking up sooner than we would like to and going to sleep much later than we would like to.
Yeah.
Hashtag life with kids.
Maternity. It's not fun.
Okay, so at number 3 I have Eva Gray, A Heartless Portrait, The Orphean Testament, one of the most listened to records this year. I've heard it 31 times. The Atlantic album from 2019 was my number 4 for the year, and last year they released Escape of the Phoenix, which was also number 4, so now they are at number 3. This band has been around for almost a quarter of century. They released their first album in 1998. This is their 13th studio album, and this may as well be their best one. I really love it. Top-notch songwriting from start to finish, excellent songs. And I have this colored vinyl. It's like silver or gray, but this has got to be probably my least favorite color for a vinyl. But I mean, it's not bad.
He loves them pink.
Sure.
Evergrey. It has to be grey because they're ever grey.
They're not ever great. They're ever gray.
Vinyl has to be grey.
Ah, ever gray. So the vinyl has to be ever gray.
Sure.
Wow, pun intended. That's what you meant, or no?
Yes.
Okay, I believe her. Okay.
Are you surprised?
Yeah, I am. Okay, so before I reveal my top picks, so what are the top picks for you?
In my top 5 is on the first place.
Just go on, come on.
King's X.
3 sides of one, yeah. Okay, so King's X. Yeah.
Zamieszali karty.
King's X zamieszali karty.
Mixing cards.
King's X mixed it up a little bit. Okay, so.
No, my top 5 is Silent Skies is in the first place because it's...
We're going from last to best, but sure, okay. So your number 1...
I'm going from first.
Okay, so your first is Silent Skies.
Yeah, because it's really nice music and catchy, and so it's bringing my stomach.
It's playing on your strings. It is for your mood, and it is to your liking. It's exactly the type of music you like. Oddland,
because they sound like h.e.a.t. I love them.
Yeah, it's a kind of like oriental prog metal. I think they even have a saxophone there or something like that. Vermilion is the record. Yeah, interesting record.
And Third is Deserta, yeah.
Okay, Deserta.
Deserta. And fourth is Evergrey, and fifth is
Deer Hunter, Ghost.
Yeah, Deer Hunter, Ghost, and King 6. Yes.
I wonder if it's my list or her list. I mean, you talked about some bands like Cult of Luna and so on. These are all the bands she would check out, but you know, she doesn't really listen to music. She doesn't really have time.
I have this music, you know.
At number 2, I have Deserta, Every Moment, Everything You Need, which is my second most listened to album this year. I've heard it also 31 times. And I have this colored vinyl that's pretty beautiful. So Deserta is like the shoegaze, almost like post-rock, indie pop kind of thing, but it's mostly shoegaze, and shoegaze is a genre I don't really listen to, so this record might as well be my introduction to the genre. I really love this record. I was listening to it a lot in the summer, and it sort of became a soundtrack of the summer 2022, but you know, you can listen to it at any time. It's a beautiful record. All of the songs are kind of samey, but they all have this like unified atmosphere, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful record.
Yeah, it's really elevating music, and I like it.
Okay, now we go for the top spot. So I have Cold Night for Alligators, the Hindsight Notes, which I've heard 23 times. I absolutely love this record. This is formerly a metalcore band, and I'm actually not a big fan of their first album. This is their third album, and quite surprisingly, they were promoting it as their softest, most accessible, the most melodic album. This is prog metal, like I would say like Leprous, in a way that it's very, you know when you say prog metal, you think Dream Theater, which, you know, like is the, at this point, kind of the most boring prog metal. But it's just, you know, the songwriting is so good, and every song is just great. Even the vinyl, it's kind of like this, you know. Just really brilliant songwriting. And I also bought their previous album Fervor, which is their second album. It's much heavier, but it's still fantastic. You know, I wouldn't buy LP anyway, you know, otherwise. Really beautiful LP. What do you think about Cold Night for Alligators?
Nice album. I didn't remember them.
We actually went to Košice to get the tiles for our bathroom and our hall. You said that it kind of reminded you of Panic at the Disco, you know, stuff.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's nice music.
Okay, so that's it, guys. What about you? What are your top picks for this year? You can let me know in the comment section below. There are definitely records I missed out on, I didn't listen to, or whatever.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Yeah, let's hope that the next year is gonna be better than this one. Paulinka, say something.
Dobre, napoďme už.
Yo.